Library Doors by Grace Nell Wilson. There were 351,640 items in the Carnfield Public Library. Miriam Grant knew that because she had logged every one into the library's computer files over the years. 17 of them and 2½ months. For roughly 6 of those years, she had been Carnfield's only active librarian and had not missed a single day, from 10 to 6 on Monday through Friday and 10 to 5 on Saturdays, and had availed herself of the non-salaried volunteers for dental appointments and the like for the shortest of times during those days. Now it was all ending. Tonight, November 20th, the Carnfield Public Library was shutting its doors for the final time. The first week in December, the doors would be reopened to sell off the library's stock of books, DVDs, documentaries only, no feature films, and sundry other items, including the large collection of LP records dating to the 1940s when the library was already a generation old. Miriam Grant looked across the empty tables to Houston Carn, who was studiously writing something in a small black ledger book. The scarred mahogany table was strewn with large art books. Homer, Parrish, Remington, Hopper, old Carn's favorites, all open to color paintings. Miriam and Carn had something in common. Probably Carn was related to the Carns who founded the town after the Civil War. Miriam was supposedly related to the great Union general and future president Ulysses Grant, although her diligent research had never absolutely confirmed the blood ties. Miriam walked over to Carn and said in a quiet tone, "5 more minutes until closing, Mr. Carn." The silver-haired gentleman looked up. "A shame," he said, "a crying shame." Miriam nodded. "It is," then added, "but they've already cut back on our police and fire departments." Carn went back to his art research. "You know, Mr. Carn," she informed him somewhat diffidently, "in December you will be able to purchase those books for your own library." "I do not want them for my library," he said matter-of-factly, starting to close the big books. "I like them right where they are." "So do I," she seconded his wish, and went to lock the library's side doors and double-check the window locks. Although it was November, sometimes the antique radiators hissed out too much heat, and it was necessary to lift the windows a few inches. Life would go on, she thought. Maybe in January she would start a house-to-house reading club among the library's remaining regulars. Maybe she would travel a little and finally complete her exhaustive research on the Grant genealogy. What did Lincoln say when notified that his best general was taking to drink? He said, "Find out what he's drinking and provide some for all my generals." Miriam felt like having her first sip of wine in who knows how many years. She wouldn't. She would go home instead for a quiet Friday dinner and read an English cozy. What else? Miriam peeked in the restrooms. They were as spotless as she had left them an hour ago. Closing the door marked "Gentlemen," she was surprised to see that old Mr. Carn had departed, as quietly as he had entered at 4 that afternoon. Strange, though, without a goodbye on the last day. And he had put the books back on the shelves by himself. All except one. Maxfield Parrish, open to one of those glorious morningscapes. dawn light as only Parrish could depict it. And he had left a bookmark between the seams. She picked it up, turned it over. It was not a bookmark at all. It was a check written on the Carnfield Savings and Trust for the largest amount Miriam had ever seen. A post-it note attached read, "This is my home library." "Is" had a line underneath it.